repair number 2 and 3 are basically both gonna be the same section, which is gonna be the gearbox. So, because the top cover of the gearbox, when we put the new top cover of the gearbox in, that'll give us a place to attach this broken piece to. I'm going to take this off now. So this just screws into this piece here. And that's tight. I need another pair of pliers to grab that. There we go. A little piece of plastic trash. Well, looks like in order to be able to take this differential out of the car, actually, do I even want to take it out? I really only want to take the top cover off. I can leave the bottom cover in the car and work on it right in there. Looks like I'm going to want to remove this blue plastic top piece right here. And to get that off, it looks like I need to remove this blue plastic piece right here. And to take that off, it looks like well, I was going to say I should take the shocks off right here, but I think if I take this plate off, I can move this whole thing back and out of the way. And it looks like this rear bumper is going to get in my way anyway, so I think I might just dispatch that now. Oh, this bumper assembly. I was wondering why they have 4 screws holding that together to make it so strong. Now I see why. That actually holds the 2 front axle pivot pins here for the front suspension. I'm sorry, rear suspension. God, I don't even remember what the front of the car. Yeah, rear suspension. Well, I'm not going to pull all that apart. I don't need to. What I can do though is I can drop this off out of the way. Oh, I didn't have to take those 2 screws out. Look at that. That one screw in the middle there would allow this whole thing to... Oh no, my mistake. Yeah, I didn't have to take that off. Okay, so now that pops this whole thing out of the way. So now you can see I've got access to this blue bracket that I was talking about right here. So we'll take the blue bracket off. Boy, those screws are long. That's a tight fit for this thing. See these 2 little rounded cutouts right here? That's to fit around these bulbous parts right here on these arms. Okay. So now I should be able to take these 2 screws out right here, which take this support arm off, and also I think are the last 2 screws that hold the top differential cover on. Yep. Alright. So the top diff cover comes off. And take this whole piece right off. I'm going to push that cover off to the side. We're going to be changing that with a brand new one so that I can get to the gears here. Alright, so this is the differential gear case opened up. And I am quite shocked to find that what I'm looking at is metal gears. So what the heck are we actually improving by replacing this? Oh, I see. It's like a double. Oh, there's a whole lot of stuff going on inside here. That is this gear is this pinion gear is metal and this ring gear is metal, but all of the other planetary gears or whatever you want to call them in there in this differential are plastic. So that's what's stripped out, and that's what we're gonna replace. Okay, so I should be able to pop this whole assembly out. This shaft's already out. And I believe I can just slide this one out of this side. Come on out of there. All right. Ugh. Ground up plastic in there. So this is the assembly right here. So what we got is we've got a couple of collars that act as bearings. So I'm going to carefully disassemble this on the bench so that I can hopefully stay straight on how this is all assembled. Okay, so there's this piece right here, plastic teeth on it. That engages these three little suckers right here. Those don't seem as horrible as I thought they would. Well, so that's what's happening. I think these teeth are just not meshing anymore. So the new kit comes with all of those pieces basically in metal form. I was just reassembling this and I was putting some light duty grease on here, as is, well, it's recommended to use a Traxxas grease with a Traxxas part number, but I don't have that. So I was greasing this, and in the diagram came with it, it shows these outboard collars right here, and it's got a little asterisk next to it, and that is because there's a separate part number for those parts, the 7541 or 7541X, which is sold separately. So then I was like, oh great, now what do I do? So I said, well, I'll just slide these off, and then I realized, oh, wait a minute. Did they come off? And it looks like this pulls out. So this little cup here that the axle end goes into, yeah, that just pulls off. Okay. And then it'll let me take that bearing off, I guess. Yeah, I think that's actually a ball bearing. Wow. I'll look at it really closely. It is. Son of a gun. Man, that thing's tiny. Not going to get an NTN number off of that one. Oh, and it does fit. That's nice. Now, does this have to go on? Yeah. Right? This must have to go on here, like this. It's funny, the instructions with these new gears say to use this grease. But when I opened up the case on the original differential here, it was bone dry. There was no grease in there. No grease on any of the parts. That actually doesn't seem too bad. I blew out any loose plastic fibers or particles that might be, or sand that might be in that case. Hopefully that's all that's going to be required. So I think if I understand this correct, they give you 2 tops and 2 bottoms, and I think that the differential for the front is identical to the differential for the rear on this thing. So this must be the bottom, and so these are the 2 tops, and I only need 1. All right, which way did this go? See, I'm glad I didn't take this off yet. Helped me figure out which way's the front and which way's the back on this. So it goes like this. So this just goes on like that. Oh, that seems pretty good. All right. I already forgot what order these screws go in. I know these 4 long ones go right through. All right, as these 2 long screws went through this bracket right here, and then I think this blue piece goes on. This dirty side facing up. Like I said, that's a tight fit around this area here. There we go. And then these 4 super long screws with the bugle head screws. Alright, now that I get those 4 screws in, I think I can put this vertical support thingy into position. Screw that in. There we go. Next I'm going to put this rear bumper assembly back on, which also acts to hold the 2 pivot pins for the 2 suspension arms. Alright, now I've got to take the old whatchamacallit here, the old differential case. Got to disconnect this arm from the old differential case. If you work on these all the time, you probably have like a set of little metric wrenches that are what, like 1.5 millimeter. Alright, that's trash. Now this is a little bit tricky. You get these 2 pins on the end of the this end of the axle that have to engage 2 slots here, so you want to kind of help guide this in. Okay, you rotate the wheel if it doesn't go in, and then once it's in, we bring this arm over, and now by some other miracle I've got to get that to actually start screwing into the top of the new case. Yeah, that's a pain in the butt. I don't suppose these are made to pop out. Oh yeah, they are. Oh man. How many of you guys all knew that? Yeah, pop it out. Could have done that with the steering one I was having such trouble with. Anyways, pop it out, screw it into the new case, and then just pop it back on. Oh, with my big fat fingers, it's tough to get that started. I wonder if one of my nut drivers would actually fit down over that ball and engage that nut. Well, how do you like them apples? The 3/16 inch nut driver fits right on there. It makes this so much easier. Alright, so last night after Mark went to bed, I finished reassembly here, and these plastic arms right here, after you screw in those ball studs, they just snap back on, so that makes it a lot easier. I wish I had realized that when I first started working on it. So I think we're ready for a test run here. Mark just went in to get the battery. Mark's installing the battery hold down. You want to test it without the body on it just to make sure it's working before you bother going through the trouble of putting it all the way together, or what?
No.
No? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want. You gotta try it. Yeah, I swear that's going backwards. Do that again. Go ahead. Full throttle. Alright, stop. It's going completely backwards. Now they both run from the same drive shaft, so there's only one possible conclusion I can come to.
What?
When I put the differential gear in,
Yeah.
it must be able to be flipped and run on the other side of the pinion, then it will go in the other direction. That's what's going on. Alright, so all I did was I took apart the rear differential there. I flipped over the whole gear assembly, so now that big ring gear is touching the other side of the pinion. That makes sense. I should have realized that something was wrong because the chassis wouldn't roll like this. It didn't want to roll because when these wheels were trying to turn in this direction, the other wheels would be trying to turn the other direction. So now it should work. The only thing we might have to do is reverse a channel. In other words, if you hit it forward and it goes reverse, then we'll have to reverse that channel. What do you need? New batteries?
Yeah.
All right, let's swap batteries out just so he can test it. All right, let's see what happens. Is that top speed? That battery must be dead as heck.
Yeah.
I thought you charged that battery.
I did.
All right, we recharged the battery. Hopefully it'll work this time. Oh yeah, that's much better. What are you doing? You going out to the road? All right, go ahead. All right, bring it over to me and stop it. All right, so we don't understand why yet, but it's working okay, but it's still flashing red. Now that might mean low voltage. White socks and sandals.
You videotaping that?
Yeah. You look like you just got off the plane from Europe.
Oh, you're a clown.
Speechless.